If you're someone who is struggling with stubborn belly fat that won't budge, or you have really bad mood swings, or you simply can't even get a good night's sleep as you are going through menopause, it might not just be your hormones, it could be toxins that are messing with your cortisol. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about, this is part 2, by the way, of I'm making it a 3-part series of basically how toxins affect you in menopause. I'm going to be talking about the quiet chaos behind your symptoms. But first, if you are new here, my name is Marie. I am 56, turning 57 this year. I'm 3 years postmenopausal and made it through with minimal symptoms. I consider myself to be very fortunate. So on this channel, I will be sharing knowledge, wisdom, experience, and all of that good stuff on how I maintain my mind, because you know sometimes you lose your damn mind in menopause, and also how I maintain my body. So in this video, I'm going to be yapping about what is cortisol, what is cortisol's role in menopause, how toxins can mess with your cortisol balance, and also some tips and tidbits on, things you can do to do simple detoxes that will support your hormones. So what is cortisol? Cortisol, yes, is known as the stress hormone. Whenever I think of cortisol, I just automatically think of excess body fat because I have too much stress going on in my life. But yes, it is a stress hormone that is produced naturally in your body. It is made by your adrenal glands, which sit on top of your kidneys. And it actually has like a few key functions in your body. Obviously, first and foremost, it helps your body deal with stress by increasing the amount of glucose or sugar that goes into your bloodstream, thereby improving your brain's use of the glucose by boosting the availability of substances that can help repair your tissues. Something else that cortisol does is it helps to regulate your metabolism. Yes, another one when you get into your 40s and menopause that it slows down and it's harder to throw off weight than it used to be when you were in your 30s and your 20s. But it does help to control how your body uses your macros, which essentially are your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. Now, cortisol also helps to control your sleep-wake cycles. One thing about cortisol is it is not a steady state hormone. It rises and falls throughout the course of the day, with it being the highest in the morning when you wake up, and then the lowest, I've heard, around midnight, as you're winding down and hopefully getting ready for a good night's sleep. It also helps to support your immune function by helping to reduce inflammation. But one thing is, if you have too much cortisol in your system for too long, it could suppress your immune system, and we don't want that. When you have too high of cortisol, that's when the weight gain comes on. You can see it in your belly, you can see it in your face, you can have the fatigue, you can have the anxiety, you can have the sleep problems. So it is so key to try to manage our stress, which seems damn near impossible in this day and age, but we have to try to get control of that, just so that we don't stay in a chronically stressed state. And then something else that cortisol does is it helps to maintain your blood pressure and your cardiovascular system. So what are toxins? If you've been following along on this channel for a little while, you know that I talk about toxins on almost every video. But toxins are everywhere. We're exposed to them every day. We are bombarded with them. They are in the clothes that we wear, the food that we eat, the water that we drink. They are in your beauty products, your personal care products. They are out in the environment, the smell of gasoline, car exhaust, a freshly paved street. They are in your home, in the things that are in your kitchen, or, other areas of your home that are sneaky that you might not think about, like maybe what the cover of your sofa, the fabric of your sofa is made out of. It could be polyester, which is made out of crude oil, essentially. So how do these toxins affect cortisol? Well, first of all, it can affect your liver function, because your liver and your kidneys, but your liver is an organ that is made to detox the toxins, filter the toxins out of your system. So if your liver is clogged up with toxins, it's not going to do the job that it's supposed to do. And that's one of the reasons that you end up with these crazy menopause symptoms. It's not flushing out. It's not flushing out. Also, due to the BPA or plastics that are lingering around, plastic drinking bottles, let's not use that anymore. But those can mimic estrogen, aka xenoestrogens, they are called, and that can lead to estrogen dominance, which essentially means you have an imbalance of estrogen and progesterone. Usually they're fairly neck and neck, but you're going to have more estrogen and a lot lower progesterone due to these toxins from plastics that are in your system. And also, it can affect your HPA, which is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Yeah, that was a big long word, but that essentially is your main stress response system, which could lead to cortisol dysregulation. So what are some signs of a cortisol imbalance due to toxins? Well, we have anything from insomnia to actually still feeling fatigued after you've had a good rest. There is the afternoon crash, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, where you feel like you're tired, so you need a little pick-me-up with either a jolt of caffeine or a candy bar. There is the belly fat that won't budge, like it's unpacked and straight up moved into your midsection, which I think is probably the biggest sign. And then there's the anxiety and irritability as well. I know that I feel that on the job because there's just some individuals there that just make me wanna, but we just try to keep ourselves calm. But those are some of the common signs that you might have a cortisol imbalance. And they might trickle over into other things as well. Like they might sound, those signs might sound familiar for other things. But when it comes to cortisol imbalance, those are some of the signs to look out for. So now let's talk about some things that you can do to help support your hormones, to detox a little bit, just to keep things flowing. First and foremost, you want to, as much as you can, reduce your exposure to toxins, plastics, the phthalates. This you're going to do by, if you can eat organic as much as possible. It's not feasible for everyone, I know, especially in this climate. But if you can't buy organic, just at least try to use or put your fruits and vegetables in a bath of baking soda and some salt. I don't use the apple cider vinegar anymore. I've heard apple cider vinegar and baking soda, but I think those two just cancel each other out. So I use baking soda with some sea salt, let it sit in a bath for 10 minutes. You should do that regardless, even if you're eating organic. Reduce obviously your exposure to, change over your beauty products, swap them out for clean ones, for safer ones. You can use the app EWG or the website EWG if you're here in Canada. Also the Yuka app as well. Great for scanning your products or inputting your products that you're interested in buying to see how clean or not clean they are. You can switch over your household cleaners or make your own if you're ambitious. At least that way you know exactly what's in it. You also want to do things to support your liver. So that is making sure you're drinking enough water or electrolytes so that you can flush out the toxins. Also good for the liver. I like dandelion root tea. I drink that almost every night and let it work through my system as I sleep. It is a bitter, and bitters are good for you. Cruciferous vegetables as well. Beets, they say. I don't know about beets, but lemon water also. First thing in the morning, warm water with lemon goes right to your digestive system and gets it moving. Helps to detox. Just make sure you don't leave the house yet. Make sure you're at home when you're drinking that warm water with lemon. And also things like dry brushing are good before you hop into the shower. Sweating, hitting the sauna. I've been in my building sauna a few times. That's a great way to sweat out toxins. Also, you could take a hot yoga class, you can work out, anything that's going to sweat, because that is how, toxins come out through your skin. Just make sure you are replenishing your system with adequate liquids, hydration, replenishing the fluids that you've lost through your sweat. And probably the most important thing is learning how to manage stress. I don't think we'll ever be in a life where we don't have any stress. I mean, it would be nice, but we need to learn how to manage workplace stress, relationship stress, family stress, financial stress. We need to learn how to manage that. You can do that by meditation. If you have to journal, if there's some kind of music that you like listening to, going for a walk. Another thing that you can do is you could drink ashwagandha. You could probably take ashwagandha maybe in a tincture just under your tongue. But ashwagandha, maca root, and rhodiola are good for stress management, unless you want to find a supplement of your own that's non-herbal. But I've done both the rhodiola and ashwagandha. I also like the Tulsi ginger tea. I've made the mistake a couple of times of drinking it at work. It mellows me out that much, and it's a good tea to drink if you have trouble sleeping. Let's just put it that way. So those are some things that you could do. But yeah, we got to get the stress under control. It is very difficult, especially in the world that we're living in now. But staying in a chronically stressed state is not doing your body any favors at all. So as we're nearing the end of this video, I mean, what you need to know is that you're not going to get everything perfect. I mean, it is a lifestyle change to reduce your toxins, but it is one of the most important things that you can do when it comes to menopause. Reduce your toxin load, because one thing I think a lot of people don't know is if you were on birth control for years, if you were on antibiotics, and maybe didn't lead the cleanest of lifestyles, once you hit perimenopause, all of those toxins that built up in your system, they get released into your brain and your bloodstream. And then that's when all the craziness starts. So if there's anything I would say, or any place to start, if you're not doing it already, is to focus on your beauty products and your personal care products, because those are the things that go on your skin every day. Your skin is your largest organ, and I think we forget that when we think of our organs. We don't really think of our skin, but your skin is your largest organ, and what you put on it will, go into your bloodstream within 60 seconds. It's that quick. So, I would start there, start investigating some swabs. And by the way, I do have a free PDF that I will leave a link in. This is 10 safe and sustainable essentials to kickstart you on your journey to a more hormone happy you. It's just 10 items that I use that are clean, they are sustainable, and just check it out. It's free. But other than that, if you found any value in this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, leave them below. I'd love to know, what is a toxin that you feel like you can start to just, swap over, or not even use at all, or use less of, minimize. Drop it below. This inquiring mind wants to know. And if you haven't subscribed as yet, I'd love to have you over on this little corner of the internet. Yes, that rhymed. But I'm here trying to build a community for women who are interested in clean living, healthy living, getting through menopause with ease and grace, midlife, all that kind of good stuff. So yes, would love to have you. But of course, in true form and as usual, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the third and final video in this series of basically how toxins affect you during menopause. I'll see you real soon.